Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lorbai, or Maddie, and today I'm reading chapter 32 of #Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. Let's get right into it. What if there's someone still alive in here? Mira asked as they crept down the first hallway. Griselda shrugged. They'd probably shoot us, but her cavalier delivery was not in direct contrast to the fact that she walked so closely behind Ethan that she was practically riding piggyback. None of the guards in the meeting rooms had weapons, Dee said, trying to sound soothing. And if there is anyone left alive, they're on our side now. Mira wasn't convinced. This is a bad idea. As they pressed deeper into the facility, Dee wasn't sure Mira was wrong. The guard station was unnerving. Gray tiles, matching walls. Gray tile floors, matching walls, rows of overhead fluorescents, evenly spaced between security doors, and everything smelled crispily sterile, generically institutional. They could have been in a hospital or a government office building or a prison. Ethan's pilfered ID badge did the trick, mostly. Every main set of doors opened easily with just a swipe of the card, but while he tried to do the same at the various offices they passed, Captain So-and-so, HR, intake, none of them opened. The owner clearly hadn't had top clearance, but even a top clearance badge wouldn't have helped them get their hands on a gun. They passed 2 weapon lockers tucked into recesses of the wall in each hallway, locked, of course, and with no discernible means of opening them. No padlocks, no card readers. It was as if the postman wanted to make sure that no one had means to protect themselves, unless he allowed it. Not the inmates, not even the guards. Finally, after 2 identical lengths of industrial corridors, they entered the residential wing of the facility. Instead of offices and gray hallways, they found an activity room painted in a cheerful shade of peach. Ping-pong, pool table, a video game system set up on a giant TV, sofas, lounge chairs, magazines, all the comforts of home, including a computer. Griselda sprinted across the room as soon as she saw it. A rotating skull screensaver bounced around the monitor, which paused the instant Griselda moved the mouse, waking the desktop from sleep mode. As the screensaver vanished, Griselda yanked the chair away from the table and sat frantically tapping the keyboard. Dee was right behind her. She leaned over Griselda's shoulders, eyes glued to the monitor. If they could access the internet, they could get a message off to the island. Is it working? Griselda placed a hand on the side of the monitor. CPU combo. It's purring. Awesome, Ethan said. I think the mess hall is through here. I'll find us some snacks. And I'll do something helpful, Niall said, like find a phone. Dee considered going with him, but he disappeared around the corner just as the computer screen blipped to life, displaying the corporate symbol of the Postman Enterprises, Inc. Below the logo was a field labeled password. Shit, Dee said. They'd never be able to guess the security password, but Griselda was unperturbed. "Give me a sec." A series of strokes brought up an MS-DOS-style window in the corner of the screen. Griselda typed in a command, and then another, and then the screen went bonkers, pixelating into a massive blurb before it cleared itself. Instead of the Postman Enterprises Inc. logo, Dee and Griselda were staring at an email window. The last person who had used the computer must have been checking his inbox when he'd been called away to that fatal meeting. He had worked for the intake department, judging by his email, but it was the sender's address that sent Dee's heart thundering in her chest. "It's from Postman Enterprises Inc." "I bet it's from the big guy himself," Griselda said. "I heard he doesn't trust his staff with anything." "Arrival schedule," Dee said, reading the subject line. "November 9th. Yesterday," Griselda said. Then she began reading. Then she read the beginning of the email out loud. "Boat A arriving 8 p.m. Contents HG." That must have been the Hardy girls. She laughed dryly. "Good to know." "Boat B arriving 10 p.m. Dee read. That's just 2 hours before everyone else on the island was gassed." Dee continued out loud. "GABB HB DIY CDV MM." The meaning was clear. "Gassy Al, Barbaric Barista, Hannah Ball, DIY Nona, Cecile B. Violent, and Molly Mahler." If Robin's Hood and Gucci Hangman never left, that means all of the remaining Paniacs have been on the island since last night. "We need to get the fuck out of here." Griselda glided the mouse over the refresh button, over to the refresh button for the guard's email server, but Dee grabbed her hand. "Wait." She spun the scroll wheel, moving down the screen so that way she could see the rest of the email. "Be advised, new executioners en route. Cancel current roster credentials effective immediately. No exit." Dee glanced up at Griselda. "What does that mean?" "I think the postman is replacing the Paniacs." Dee's brain whirled. If the postman was planning to get rid of his current Paniacs, could his stunt with the Hardy girls have been part of the plan? What if he never intended for Dee to be the victim? What if he wanted to liquidate his sister act killers all along? Griselda whipped the cursor back to the reload button and clicked it. All the more reason to get off this island. Dee held her breath. This nightmare might be over in a matter of seconds. If only they could get internet access. A wheel spun in the middle of the screen, distorting the email text, then stopped. Instead of a refreshed page, an error message popped up on the screen. "No internet connection found." Shit. Dee smacked her palm against the table. She should have known it wouldn't be that easy. The postman had been a step ahead of them all along. Why would he slip up now? But Griselda appeared unfazed. She had minimized the browser window and opened another command window. "Could be a firewall," she explained while she frantically typed. which I can bypass. Dee waited while she attempted several workarounds, all of which were totally above Dee's computer-savvy pay grade. But after a few minutes, Griselda pushed the keyboard away in disgust. The whole internet network is down. Any way to fix it? Griselda peered over the top of the monitor. Network cable connected, she said, through the wall. I'm going to see where it leads. She jumped to her feet and disappeared around the corner. Dee scanned the activities room. Mariah must have gone with Niles or Ethan, neither of whom had returned. They promised to stick together when they entered the station, and now here they were, separated and alone. That's when they get you. There's a phone in an open office next door, Niles said, returning, slightly out of breath. Plus two more down the hall in other common space, all dead like the one in the sentry hut. Of course they are. Where did everyone go? Griselda's looking for the internet router. No connection, she said, before Niles could ask. Figures. And Mariah went with Ethan to find the kitchen. Niles frowned. They should be back by now. This wing isn't that large. Griselda rounded the corner to the activity room, shaking her head. Found the router. It's on, but no dice. Also found this cell phone on one of the desks, but something is blocking the network signal. She held up a newer model Android phone, the lack of network bars apparent on the home screen. Something? Niles asked. Military-grade network scrambling device is my guess. Niles pursed his lips. Can we switch it off? Griselda shrugged. Sure, if we can find it, but it could be anywhere in the building. No phones, no internet, Dee said. We're completely cut off. Niles dropped onto the sofa. Well, this is a bloody nightmare. Why did the postman kill everyone else but not us? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Dee said. I know. Except she was lying. It did make sense. Perfect sense. She thought of the message scrawled on the inside of her linen closet, of her dad's desperate attempt to tell her about Kumi, of Kumi's probable connection to the postman. Kumi had been released from the Western Syria State Mental Hospital and was exacting revenge on Dee. Kumi had wanted Dee all to herself, a plaything, a toy, a devoted companion, and now she was playing out the rest of their scenario. I'll kill everyone you love. As with Monica and Blair, the death of her friends would be on her head. Didn't they deserve to know why? She began, but stopped. She told Monica about Kumi, and just days later, Monica was dead. Would she be helping Niles and Griselda by telling them, or signing their death warrants? And at this point, did it even matter? Yes, but before Dee could finish, Mariah burst into the room. Ethan, she said, panting heavily. Have you seen him? Dee shook her head. Not since he left to find food. Shit. Dee had never heard Mariah swear before, and the panic in both her voice in both her face and her voice was apparent. A prickly sensation slowly made its way up the back of Dee's neck. What's wrong? Mariah's eyes shifted from Dee to Griselda. Ethan's disappeared. And that's the end of chapter 32. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.